Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It is Kornelia Stephanie Day on Transformation Talk Radio. Here we are, Fridays from 12 to 2. Every Friday from 12 to 2, we have two shows that are all geared and designed to bring you empowerment, inspiration, practical tools on what you can do to raise your vibration and live in the new earth, which is what it is that we are creating here on this planet at this point in time. So for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, I'm Kornelia Stephanie. I'm your host and creator of this show. And my special guest today that was going to be with us, Peter Hansen, unfortunately had a family emergency. And so I just want to say for those people that are Peter's tribe, which I know they were really looking forward to hearing Peter, Peter is fine and the family is fine. It's just that he had to travel to where the emergency has taken place to bring his presence there. And so let us just send some beautiful, loving thoughts to Peter and his family, and that everything is going to work out for the highest and best, and easy, safe travels for you, Peter. We're going to miss you on the show today. So what are we going to talk about now that it's just going to be you and I? And I thought, wow, what a great way to invite you, the audience, to participate with me. And then, of course, I'm inviting my producer, Zach, which Zach has done shows with me before. He produces the shows that, every week that we feature here on Transformation Talk Radio. And I thought, well, why don't I invite Zach to help me do some of the things that Peter and I were going to do today. And one of the things that we were going to do is Peter and I were going to talk about topics that we're passionate about in the form of questions. So what I want you, the audience, to do today is I want you to, as Zach, Zach is standing in for Peter, and Zach is going to be asking me questions. And what I want y'all to do, because if you're listening to this show, self-realization, self-actualization, sovereign, authentic expression of who you are, then that means that you are at the place and time in your life to really step into that expression and that being as a sovereign being, as a self-realized being, and an actualized being, and that is living your highest fulfillment in the physical. So the questions that Zach is going to answer, questions that Zach is going to pose to me, write each question down as if I was asking you the questions, because every person has to explore what things mean through the consciousness of their own being, through the consciousness of their own heart. And so I'm inviting you, the audience, to participate with me and go ahead and write the question down for yourself, and then answer it. And in the form of, you can share it with me on social media. You can share it with me at my email at radio@korneliastephanie.com, because I really want to hear what it is that you have to say about it. And you can also call into the show at 1-800-930-2819 to answer any of these questions that we're going to pose today. So does that all sound pretty good, Zach, what I said here?
Sounds great.
Sounds great? Okay. Are we ready for the first question?
Sure thing.
Awesome.
So question one, when it comes to principles, what's your number one principle that you make decisions on?
The number one principle that I make decisions on is based on a Buddha quote. And I think that I sent you that picture, Zach. And if you can also put that up on the screen so the audience can see it. And the quote is basically is, do not believe anything that has been said to you by any authority outside of yourself. So that is anyone, that is anyone in the world, including angels, gods, inspirational sources, including myself. Do not believe anything unless you have explored it as your truth from your own consciousness within your heart. Were you able to put that up, Zach, on the screen?
I'm looking for it.
It should be in that first image that I sent. It was an image, and it had Buddha's quote on the top there. But either way, this is how I make decisions. Is I make my decisions based on that principle. So it doesn't matter to me what is being said out there in the world. I will first explore how I feel about it and explore it from the consciousness within my own heart so I can discover what's true for me, right? And this is a principle that I live by. So then it becomes really easy. It becomes really easy to make decisions because I explore it from within the consciousness of the heart. And it doesn't mean that I don't do my research and I don't look at other things. I do. But the final decision is always going to be the one that comes from the heart and how I feel about it and what's true for me. And this is such a wonderful principle because in the past, we've given our power away to outside sources. And I really feel like part of the reason why Buddha made that quote is because even angels can come in a cloaked form and they can present themselves in a mask. They can present themselves in a way to you that isn't necessarily the highest and best. And so that's where I really feel that quote comes in very, very handy as a principle. And this is my principle teaching when I work together with people, individuals or groups. This is always the thing that I point them towards, is to find their own sovereign power, their own authority within themselves, and stand in that. That's one of the principles. And then the other principle that I make my decisions on is what I'm standing in, is what I'm deciding, is what I'm choosing in alignment with do no harm to another person or myself or the planet, do no harm, and love, honor, and respect. Love, honor, and respect. Those principles. And so within my own being, these are the actions and the choices that I make are about do no harm to another person, to another being, no harm to myself. That all the choices and decisions that I make are based from a source consciousness, from a sovereign energy that is about love, honor, and respect. And that's the choices I make. So again, it makes it pretty easy when we have our principles down. So this is the question I'm asking you today too. What choices, what principle do you follow? What is it that you're doing? And how you're making the decisions in your own life. Okay, so let's go to the next question, Zach.
All right. So can you talk to us about what you see for us for the next 6 months and like what we should focus on as people?
Okay. So I'm also asking you that question too. What do you see for the next 6 months? What I see for the next 6 months is for us to, each person is a universe within themselves. And when you remember that you are a universe within yourself, you remember that, I'm a universe within myself. I'm creating it. And each person is creating a new infrastructure within their physical body. They're creating a new infrastructure in their home, in their community, in their gardens. And so for the next 6 months, we're laying that foundation down so that then after this 6 months going into 2021, we're going to be building high. But right now we're laying the foundation, which is why you need to be really solid in your spiritual principles. How do you make decisions? And what is it that that's really important to you with how you make decisions, right? There's that, because you're laying that foundation. And the second thing is, what do we see for the next 6 months? Each person is a universe with themselves, the conscious beings, the realized beings, the self-awakened beings, the enlightened beings. They know that they are now building their new earth and laying that infrastructure down, but it all begins within the physical body. And then as 2021 opens up, we are going to be, building in earnest. But right now, it's kind of like we're laying the foundation with every thought, with every action, with every deed, in community, for community, because love is the action and peace is the way. So are we ready for a break, Zach?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Okay, cool. Let's go take a break and we'll be right back on the Kornelia Stephanie Show.
Are you an entrepreneur who's struggling to be seen? Do you know deep in your gut that if you could just be seen and get your message out, that you'd easily reach your tribe? How wonderful would it be if a fairy godmother came along, waved her magic wand, and suddenly you were more than visible. You were dazzling. Would you sign up for that? Hi, I'm Deborah Lupien, spiritual teacher and international best-selling author of Akasha Unleashed, The Missing Manual to You. I'm here with the wonderful news that such a person actually exists. Her name is Kornelia Stephanie, and she's gifted at helping entrepreneurs become dazzling. I've watched her work her magic over and over to turn invisible entrepreneurs into dazzling stars who easily attract their ideal clients and have fun doing it. Not long ago, I was the recipient of her gift. As a guest on her show, Living Heaven on Earth, not only did we have fun, but Kornelia helped me get my message out to a wider audience, which resulted in a very nice spike of traffic to my website and more subscribers to my list. Did I mention it was incredibly easy? Kornelia's running a veritable media empire of uplifting programs. They cover a broad range of topics and have a large appreciative audience. That's a winning combination, folks. Guess what? Those shows need guests and hosts. Imagine, after guesting on a few shows, moving up to hosting your own popular show. That is absolutely possible for you. So now you have a decision to make. Are you going to keep struggling on your own, or are you going to sign up for some Kornelia Stephanie dazzling visibility magic? Email radio@korneliastephanie.com today.
Hi, everybody. We're back on the Kornelia Stephanie Show. And today I'm inviting you, the audience, to participate with me to answer some questions about how you feel about certain things. And so Zach is posing the question and he's asking me, but I'm also asking you to answer those questions for yourself. So Zach, let's get right into it. What was the next question?
All right. Where do you draw a line in the sand? What will you not allow in your world? Not on your watch.
This is a really good one for all of us. Where do you draw the line in the sand? What will you not allow on your watch? And what's going on in your world? Where will you take a stand? Basically, putting a boundary down. And the place where I will put a boundary down very quickly is when I see violence, when I see women, children, or animals get disrespected or bullied upon. Violence, domestic violence, any kind of violence of any sort. And so I will draw the line there. And it even goes really close to because here's the way I see this. When we're looking at the whole world as a world, it's like, gosh, there's a lot of violence. How do you draw the line? And the way I draw the line is in my own community. In my own community, what I see in my own physical experience that's right around me. So if I see somebody getting abused, or if I see somebody being abused, or if I see something like that that's in my community, I will naturally take a stand for it. And I'll just give you a quick example. I was coming out of Walmart one day, and I was walking out the door, and I saw across the street there was this big huge guy. He was a white guy, and he was the woman was sitting at the bench waiting for the bus, and he was standing over her, and he was doing this. And I thought, oh my God, is he going to hit her? Is he going to hit her now? And I was in a hurry, and I really didn't have the time, but I could not just walk by and not say anything. That's what I mean. I couldn't just do that. It's just not part of my world. I mean, I'm seeing it. It's happening. I have to say something. I have to do something. So I cleared my front seat, and my plan was to drive by. I did a drive-by. I rolled my window down. I looked directly at the woman, and I said to her, do you need some help? And she looked at me and she said, mind your own business. And so I was like, wow, okay. This is their movie. This is their story. But at least I stood up for what I was feeling was the right thing to do. And so I was planning on putting her in the car and dropping her off somewhere, taking her somewhere that she could be safe. This is what I mean by where do you draw the line in the sand? And I will stand for that always when I see in my community someone being abused, some violence happening. I will stand up if I see it. And this is what I mean for all of us. In our communities is where it starts. In our own homes, when you see bullying going on, or when you see passive aggressive behaviors going on, that's where I draw the line, and that's where I will speak up. And it's a natural thing that I do. It's not even something I have to think about. So that's definitely already something happening. I'll give you one more quick example. Not on my watch. Here was another thing. I was with my partner, and we were in Arizona on the mountains, and we were camping. One of his friends came to visit, and we were there. And that night we were all sitting by the fire, and my partner had a lot of respect for his friend. He was really, very impressed by this person. And so this was my first time meeting him. And I thought, well, I'm looking forward to meeting him. And so then that evening, sitting by the fire, he was talking about all the things that need to happen in the world. We need to blow this up. We need to blow this up. We need to blow that up. And we need to blow that up. Well, not on my watch, not in my world. So where I take a stand is when people are talking about blowing things up, or when they're talking about these kinds of things, then I will stand up and I will speak up, because I have to speak to the energy. I have to speak to the energy that is right there in my experience. And that's what I mean by our community. If you're having the experience, if it's there, on your watch, not on my watch is somebody going to get blown up. Not on my watch is somebody going to get, domestic violence put upon them. Not on my watch is somebody going to get disrespected, and not on my watch. That's where I draw the line. Where do you draw the line? Okay, Zach, next question.
How do you see the physical body, and what's most important to healing the body?
Okay, this is another really, really good question, because the physical body is the church. The physical body is the holy temple. And the physical body is the absolute precious, precious, precious place that houses our spirit. The energy flows through us. It's our holy encounter, the physical body is. And so how do we heal the physical body? When we remember and know that the emotional body is also part of the physical body, the mental body is part of the physical body, the spiritual body is part of the physical body. And when we remember that all four of those bodies are part of the physical body, the number one thing we need to do is heal the trauma, the emotional body. That to make sure that all the trauma has been healed out of the emotional body, because it's stored in the physical body. not to suppress emotions in the physical body. Zach, you have some links that I want to share with people on the screen today. And if you want those links, please feel free to email me at radio@korneliastephanie.com, because this is where I teach and talk about how important emotions are. I wrote a book about it, how to heal your life, how to heal your body with the power of your emotions. Peace, the flip side to anger. And so you can get this on Amazon, by the way. But if you want free tools, I'm sharing those with you here today. Emotions 101, emotional processing technique, finding out what it is that is this about when you get triggered. And then, of course, your anger management. These are all important parts of healing the physical body. And there's so many wonderful modalities out there, but these are the ones that I've developed, that I've used, that I've shared with thousands of clients all over the place. And they're free for you if that's something that will be of service to you. So, okay, next question, Zach.
How do you feel about masks, and what's your take on COVID?
Okay. So when COVID first came out, right away, when it was announced, I immediately sat down with myself, with my being, and I made a declaration that I am not a host for COVID, that my body is not going to be a host for it, that I'm not choosing to have that experience, and that this is not something that I'm participating in, programming my body to realize that we're not hosting this experience. So because I'm the creator of my reality, and this is the way that I did it, is to program the body that no, this is not what I choose to have or choose to experience. So that's one thing. The second thing is the way that I feel about masks. When it first came out, I thought right away, I'm not gonna wear a mask. I'm not going to do that. And then I ended up going out for a hike with one of my good friends, Dennis Gaither, who's also a co-host here on the Kornelia Stephanie Show. And Dennis is also a doctor. And Dennis asked me, are you going to be wearing a mask? And I said, no, I'm not. And I asked him, are you? And he says, I am. And then he explained to me why he's doing that. And he talked about, that the coronavirus is, we don't know that much about it and how contagious it is. And he just basically gave me his perspective. And I thought to myself, wow, that's harmless. Sure, I'll go ahead and wear a mask. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a charge around it. And in this week's newsletter that I'm sending out to my tribe right now, I wrote about my experience with that and what my stand is on that. And in addition, I invited my Facebook community also to tell me what their stand is on wearing a mask and how do they feel about it. I asked this question about 2 weeks ago. If you go to Kornelia Stephanie Facebook page, you can scroll down through my timeline. What you're going to find is you're going to find me posing the question, and what you're going to find, there's going to be 81 comments from people on what their stand is and what they're doing. And so, which is really, really interesting, 81 comments. And so people are so amazing because they did all the research. So many people have talked about, what the research is behind the masks, all these different things, all the data, it's all there. So if you want to be part of my newsletter, that you can always stay on top of topics like this, because I'm also sharing it there, you can just text the name Kornelia, Kornelia, to the number 22828, and you're subscribed. And every week I'm sharing and talking about topics that are concerning us in building our new world. And also all the wonderful co-hosts that co-host with me on the Kornelia Stephanie Show every single Friday. I mean, these people are talking about how to, change your relationship with money, from money to vision. There's so many different ones that we can actually use practical tools in our lives to make the world a better place. And we're collaborating together, and that really is the way that we're building the new world. Heart connection, collaboration, standing for things, supporting each other, and that's what's really important. So, okay. Next question, Zach.
All right. So there's a lot of negativity out there right now. How do you stay positive?
So there is a lot of negativity out there. And so let me remind everybody right now, again, when we're looking at the world, there's always been a lot of negativity. It's just, really out there right now. It's like more exposed. That's the thing. And so the way that I handle it is I bring it right back here to the community. I bring it right back here to the home. I bring it right back here. In my home, there is no negativity. In my thoughts, there is no negativity, because I work every day. I have been working every day to reprogram the subconscious mind that was programmed before in negativity, and to continuously keep loving the self and honoring the self, and choosing the thoughts the same way that I would choose my clothing, and being really conscious of that. I mean, and I hear people say that's hard to do. Yes, it is. That's why I went on the news last year in June, and I invited the audience to no negative self-talk for 21 days. So it's definitely possible. So when we're looking at the negativity that's out there, bring it back to yourself and look at where the negativity is in the home, in the community, and bring it right back there. And how I take care of myself. Sometimes when it gets a bit too much, I just come back to myself and I will go out in nature, all the things that we love doing. Go out in nature, lay in bed and watch Netflix, take a bath, do all the nurturing things that I need to do to recharge myself and come back to balance, and come back to harmony, and come back to the truth of who we are. And the truth of who we are is the most magnificent, beautiful, beautiful children, loving creator of the Most High. That is who we are. That is who we are. And that is the truth. And that's where to bring it back. That's how I always bring it back. Bring it right back to that 0 point energy, to that Buddha consciousness, to that Christ consciousness, to that source consciousness. Bring it right back there. And then when you do that, and you bring your love to that, and you bring your acceptance to that, the negativity is gone. So, okay, Zach, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Charlene Hess, and I want to share with you my wonderful experience of choosing to use Kornelia Stephanie as my life coach. My life is so different now from where it was when I began working with her in 2011. At that time, I was in a dysfunctional marriage. I had my own business. I was raising 2 children and completely dead inside. After working with Kornelia, I began to gain confidence. I began to learn and understand how to use my emotions in my life. I learned how to process the emotions that were stored in my body, the ones that I thought that I had already worked through in my 12 years of counseling prior to working with her. The process that she had taken me through of using my emotions to heal my life, to use my anger to find peace, was absolutely incredible. I have been working with her one-on-one for many years now, and even though I am in a place now where I am thriving in my life, I still refer to Kornelia as my coach, and I still work with her on an ongoing basis where we're always checking in and keeping me accountable in my growth. After working with her for many years, I decided to go through her wholeness certification coaching program, and it has absolutely been an amazing process. I now am a certified empowerment coach, and I got certified through her program, and I am taking clients and helping them to find the empowerment in their lives. One of the things that I love about Kornelia is that she taught me that I am the authority in my own life. And that was a really difficult experience to go through, because it was really fighting against all of the dogma and programming that was so ingrained in my brain that all of the authority is outside of me. But as I began to understand and believe and adopt and know the truth that I am the authority in my life is when everything in my life started to shift and change. I became responsible for my decisions. I became responsible for creating a life that I love. And now I'm here in this amazing, beautiful place, living a life of so much happiness and joy. And no matter what life throws at me, I have the tools to be able to approach everything from a place of empowerment. And now I have the ability to help other people do the same. So working with Kornelia has absolutely been the best decision that I've ever made in my life. It has taken me from a life of absolute misery and given me the tools to be able to have a life of absolute, complete joy. So I cannot recommend working with her enough. I hope that you decide to choose to have her as your coach. Go through her empowerment coaching program, go through her wholeness certification, and I guarantee you won't regret it.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, and be sure to stay with us for the next hour or two when I have with us Rise and Be Rich from Australia, Ahana and Daniel, and we're going to be talking about how to market your business. A lot of the entrepreneurs that are out there, they're marketing their business, trying to discount their prices and all of that, and we're going to be talking about should they be doing that. So you definitely want to stay tuned. For all those entrepreneurs out there, Ahana and Daniel always bring the best top of the line marketing tips and ways that you can market your business and succeed in the world today. So that's at 1:00. All right, Zach, let's go for the next question.
All right. So with all the negative energy we talked about before the break and attacks of negative energy, how do we go about dodging karmic bullets?
Yeah. You know, it's pretty much kind of what I said before, is just really working on yourself and making sure that you're in your high vibration, in your home, in your body, in your community, that you're there. And as you're, out there in the world, really look at not firing back with people. It's kind of like, it's like use your discernment. It's like, I don't want to play here. I don't necessarily want to go over here. I just really focus on your own self and the energy that you're putting out there, because the negativity is out there. I mean, even I've definitely put energy out, like posts on Facebook or whatever, and negativity would come back. And so in not engaging with it is what I want to say. And then the other thing that I want y'all to do is what I want everyone to do, all the sovereign beings that are ready to claim their sovereignty. First of all, feel free to write me an email at radio@korneliastephanie.com, and I will send you a letter of sovereign independence that I wrote and that I have my community write. And basically it's like you're writing about who you are. I declare my sovereignty and where you stand, and you're writing it down. And this is where I'm coming from. This is what I stand for. These are my principles. I declare my sovereignty, and I broker no interference. This is your word, and your word is law. So when you're coming from that place that there can't be, I broker no interference, this is where I'm coming from, that really puts you in the driver's seat of your own sovereign universe that you're building and creating within the next 6 months. That's why tuning into this show today and taking on this challenge of releasing the negativity, working on your emotional body, declaring your sovereignty, writing that letter. And write that letter to yourself. And if you want a witness, share it with me. You can email me at radio@korneliastephanie.com, or you can instant message me on Facebook. I'm interested. I want to hear, because what are we doing here? We're here inspiring, empowering you to step into your sovereign expression, and for you to build your universe according to principles and values that you stand for. Draw on that line in the sand. And it all begins at home. It begins at home, it begins in the community, and then it'll ripple out into the world. And basically, that's what it is. Let me see if I have everything I wanted to say about the letter. Yeah, in the letter, you say, I am here, I exist, I am sovereign, I am free, because you're not a slave. You're not a slave, and you're here, you're remembering that. You're realizing that. That's all part of that self-realization. That's all part of that sovereign expression. And I like doing this, and I invite everyone to do this, because what you're doing is you're informing the field. You're informing the field. You're informing the field that's already out there, the quantum field. And what you're doing is you're putting your voice into it, which matters. You're putting a stand. And so then when people say, I don't know if I'm doing enough, that alone is enough. That alone is so much, because you took a stand, you took responsibility, and you're healing the separation. Because again, remember that anything outside of ourselves, if we are looking at anything that's outside of ourselves and seeing the separation, the war between the light and the dark, this is always the piece that we first want to heal within ourselves. And when we can do that and keep bringing it back to the self, keep bringing it back home to you, the person that has the authority, that has the love, that has the power. Because if you bring it back to you, you and God, you and Source, you and the God of your understanding are one. There is no separation. So when you're coming from that place, that is how you heal the separation and deal with the negativity. Okay, Zach?
So are you getting any pushback from taking a stand on things?
Yes, I am getting pushback, and I also know that other people are getting pushback too. So, you know, when people stand up for something, it's kind of like you have to be prepared for more of the, you know, haters, if you will, more of the negativity or whatever. That is also part of the game. So that's going to happen. And again, the pushback that I've received from taking a stand on certain things where people want to battle me and fight me, it's not something that I engage in. I just don't do it. You know, I take my stand, and then people that want to push back or challenge me or debate me and all of these things, I don't have to convince anyone. That's all part of the old energy. I just have to, you know, stand strong in mine. And that's what I want to invite everyone to do, is remind you to stand strong in your energy. And there's going to be pushback. That's just part of it. And when we know that that is part of it, then we can relax more, like, okay, certainly not personal, certainly not personal. So, okay, Zach, next question.
What is the number one thing that the Starseed, the Lightworkers, the Awakened, and all the enlightened people out there can do?
Yeah, what is that? And that is really to raise your daily vibration and to own your sovereign spiritual power. That's really what we can all do. And one of the things that I share in my tribe, in my community, is I have a daily practice that I invite everyone. Usually I put out a post every morning. It's an audio post, and it is the text, and it has about 10 minutes of daily reflection, daily meditation, daily high vibrational message to raise your vibration and stand strong in your sovereignty. And it's 10 minutes. It's a daily practice. That's one thing people can do. And just recently, one of my people that's part of my tribe sent me, we were together on a Zoom call, and this is what she had to say about the membership. I want to share it on this call. Can I do that, Zach? What do we need to do in order to share that?
Bottom of the screen there, the share screen button.
Yeah. The share screen. Okay. And are you seeing that screen now?
Not yet.
Okay.
Should have produced a pop-up.
Host disabled. It said, okay. What do you? Yeah, that's not working. But let me just play it. Let me play it. Let's see what happens if I play it. If we can't see it,
All
but we
right.
can hear it.
How are you?
I'm really good. It's so much learning and growing and so much stuff. And, Spirit's like, no, look at it. No, look at it. Sit down, pause. And I keep saying pause from you. Pause. I've been looking at your stuff like a ton, Cornelia. And on days I wake up really heavy, and evenings, and it's been a couple of days. But before that, I was just like, I don't know. Thank you so much for what you do. Yeah.
Well, have you been, I mean, sometimes I see you online on the, in the membership. Have you been going through the different posts and stuff?
Yeah. I posted something just a few days ago. Yeah, I do. And I've been really on that forgiveness, that Ho'oponopono thing. I love that. And sometimes I'll listen to that over and over. But yeah, I'm reading stuff and looking at it. And I don't always do the daily. I haven't done the daily in a couple of days. But I do it a lot. For $33 a month, Cornelia, oh my God. It's just priceless for what people can reference to. They're fools to not sign up for it. I wish I could do it another year. It's worth it. It's worth every penny. And I know I don't talk to you all the time, but I know that if I had a need, you would set aside a scheduled time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's worth it. It's helped me through more than what I can actually put into words. And, there's been a lot going on in my family, but that's not my focus. And that's what's just been coming around. It's like, wait, that doesn't need to be consuming every moment. Stop. So I had a great time at Mom's yesterday because I was out of that, oh my God, she can't breathe. I'm just like, I was present and filled with love, which is another thing I got and from you, and pause and step into love. Pause. It just really, I use that all throughout my day. So I don't know how I can help you promote this thing, sister, but you should be everywhere. Like, people need this, and not even the Zoom calls.
All right. So there you have it. This is one of the members. This is what she received out of being part of my daily membership. And it's a daily tribe that has high vibrational messages every single day. And what Wendy's talking about, the $33 a month, this is another aspect that she's involved in. But this particular membership that I'm talking about is $13 a month. And you can go and check it out at corneliastephanie.com. And there is a tab where it says membership, and you can become a part of it. You can test it out at any time. There is an entire living library for the last 5 years of content. There's so much how to, live in harmony in the new earth every single day for 10 minutes a day. And this is what all light workers and star seeds and awakened beings can do, because it is us that is helping to calm the waters with all the violence and everything that's taking place out there. It is us that is required to, step into that higher vibrational way of living and being. And I'm calling us to that. And that is to be our personal best every single day, every single day. So what's the next question, Zach?
The next question is, how do we deal with all the division out there?
Well, this is a good point. So how do we deal with the division? It's really pretty clear that right now we've got the division is clear. So we've got heaven on earth, the new earth, heaven on earth, the new earth. We have the fifth dimension. We have that. That's what we're building upon the next 6 months, because that's all happened within the body. And now we're making it physical. We're making it real. And then we have the old 3D world, the chaos and everything that's happening, that is, the old paradigm that's dying away, the third dimension that has kept us separate from each other. And so you just have to know where you stand. Do you stand in the old world, or are you in the new? And I invite everyone here today to declare in your letter, write your letter, and put your feet in the ground and stand and say, I'm in the new earth. This is where I stand. Take a picture of your feet as you're looking down. I stand in the new earth. I stand in the heaven on earth, in your world, what you're creating, where you are. And know where you stand so that you're not wobbling between the two, that you're not going back and forth, because we've all done that for a long time too, is going back and forth. And then we'd go back and then we'd fall back down the rabbit hole. Bring yourself here now and keep yourself here solid. And even though, right now, the way I see it, I don't really see that we know how to really walk in it yet, meaning that we're like babies now and we're learning how to walk. So it's a wobble. It's a little bit of a wobble. And it's kind of like, a baby taking its first step and then falling down and taking some steps and then falling down, that kind of thing. So this is kind of like where we're at in the next couple months, is learning how to walk. And, things are not perfect. And also, if you can accept that, like even today, I really wanted to do this show with Peter today. I was looking so forward to, I like having Peter on. And then I had to prepare for myself to do it with myself. And then, of course, I have resources, people available. And Zach is doing a fantastic job to, help me facilitate this amazing call for what I love doing on a regular basis. And that is to share consciousness, to share love, to share the truth, to share my heart, to share the passion of what it is that we're doing here. That's part of my work. And so, resting and relaxing in that and taking a stand on where you're living and where you're building. Where are you? The old world, it's very clear, old world, new world. You can just look at it that way, which is also another simple way, is the old world is the division, it's the separation, it's the limitation, it is the violence. In heaven on earth, in the new world, violence doesn't happen in my house. When over the years, when I have, encountered people where there was abuse going on, or I was maybe taking a part-time job back in the day while I was, still building my business. And when things would come up, I would take a stand when things were not right, and I would get fired, or I would be told, that, whatever it is, it's just because I took a stand. And even at the cost of my income, and just because my principles are so strong. And, this feels so good to me, to be living like this. And people that know me, my friends, my inner circle, people that love me, that know, they're so glad that I'm here. They're so glad that I'm bringing this. They're so glad that I'm doing this, because they can rely on it. They can count on it. And the same way I feel like this too about my mentors and people that I have looked up to over the years, that I can rely on them. One of my teachers and all-time teachers for a long time, Marianne Williamson. I look to her leadership because I just love, I can always count on her. And the way I feel about myself is I can always count on me to show up too. So it's like, show up or get out. It's kind of like that. And there's no bad feelings. It's just what it is. And I think that we need to stand more stronger over the next 6 months in what it is that we stand for and what it is that we believe in. So, okay, Zach, how much time do we have left?
We have about 3 minutes.
Okay, so how many questions do we have left?
2.
All right. Let's see if we can get them. Let's see.
All right. So what would you like all the people listening today to do?
Well, I want them all to write the letter, and write that sovereign letter, declare and decree where you are, choose where you're going to put your footing down, where you're going to build your next, where you're going to lay your foundation on in the new world, and continue on raising your vibration. And of course, I'd love it if you all would subscribe to the Kornelia Stephanie Show on the YouTube channel and help us build our tribe. What's the next question?
Speaking of the tribe, how can people join and collaborate and contribute?
The way that people can join is they can also, there's another link, Zach put it out. On Saturday mornings, I lead a spiritual meetup group for women. And the women can come in at, we meet from 9 to 10:30. And generally, I bring on a spiritual topic, and then all the women get to share. And these are women from around the world. And it's also, doesn't matter what your faith is, if you're a Christian, if you're Hindu, whatever it is, because we're all coming home we're all walking each other home. So that's how you can get involved. And Zach, if you can show that link, Spiritual Meetup Group for Women, anyone, call me up, 360-941-5783 to want to get involved into the membership, or you want to get involved in the Spiritual Meetup Group, or you want to have some topics that you want to talk about with the Kornelia Stephanie Show. Any one of those, we would be welcome. You would be welcome to be received. So, I just want to thank my audience so much. It's been, it's been 2.5 years, I think now, almost 3 years since we've been bringing you the Kornelia Stephanie Show. And I have grown so much over the years, because the way I feel is showing up for this show is like showing up for a keynote speech every single week, where we show up and we bring our best self. And there's times where, where we might not be feeling like the best, but we do it. Are we complete, Zach?
Yep, we're all good.
Okay. Right.
You've been listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love.